So, folks, we have to talk about what happened over the weekend. We have to talk about Tarrant County, Texas, okay? Um y'all don't understand, and I've been kicking myself over the last couple days because I was going to talk about this race and I didn't because I kept getting sidetracked and distracted by ICE doing stuff here in the city I live in. And I'm so upset that I didn't talk about it beforehand because it would have made me look really smart. But this race was a huge deal. Okay? So essentially, here, folks, what we got going on is a race in Tarrant County in order to, decide the fate of literally the most Republican district in America. Okay? It is like the largest GOP county in the United States. It is huge. It is big. And also, it just went to a Democrat. They had a special election. It went to a Democrat in a 32-point swing. This district went from plus 17 for Trump to plus 7 for a Democrat. Like we're talking like colossal shift. I'm not sure that math follows what I just said, but math is not my strong suit. Politics are. All right? It was colossal. This swing is, well, Robert Evans, who many of you may know from the Behind the Bastards podcast, described it as, this would be like if at the height of the invasion of Gondor, Mordor had voted overwhelmingly for Aragorn. And I think that is a fitting analogy. So, as of about a week ago, right, you have this runoff election scheduled, right, in Senate District 9. Hasn't elected a Democrat since 1999. And you have Taylor Remmitt, my bad, entering the scene here as a pro-labor Dem, like actually running on progressive pro-labor messaging. And the spending in this campaign is crazy, right? You've got his opponent spending literally millions of dollars in all kinds of different avenues to make sure that they got victory locked down. Taylor Remmitt's campaign spends about $200,000. So like 1/10 as much. Maybe even less than that. And what we've got going on here... Oh, yeah, by the way, his opponent was one of the guys who started Patriot Mobile, the mobile phone scam for conservatives. So that's super fun. And his opponent's name doesn't look like an actual name. I'm gonna type it on screen just to really hammer home how ridiculous it looks. All right. This is his opponent's name. Wamsgans. He went up against Lay Wamsgams, and that sounds like me coming up with some kind of gnome name when playing Dungeons and Dragons. Lay Wamsgans. Anyway, we live in weird times. The actual voter turnout here is astounding. Not even because it's like that different from usual. It's actually one of the most interesting parts about this, right? The voter turnout for Dems was actually muted compared to the Democratic primary. So, what happened? Well, it turns out that this is the voter breakdown for Texas Senate District 9, right? Which is 51% Republican, 14% Independent, and 35% Dem. And this is how it actually turned out in the vote share, which means with 43% of the vote going Republican and 57% of the vote going Democrat, what that means is basically every single independent and some Republicans defected and voted for the Democrat in this race. It's not because Democrats overwhelmingly turned out. It's because in this, the heart of Trump County, country, independents are sick of what Donald Trump is offering. And even some Republicans are sick of what Donald Trump is offering. Like, we are looking at, I guess the moment where the Republican base is rejecting Donald Trump. Like, we have officially hit the point where we've bottomed out when it comes to Donald Trump support, and they are finally going, wait a minute, this guy might not actually have our back. This guy might not have our back. It's very interesting. It's interesting. This is a huge shift in the wind. And it also indicates that this shift isn't just local to, say, the Wisconsin State Supreme Court race. It's not just local to, the East Coast or the West Coast. Like, we're seeing it happen in Trump country. We're seeing it happen. And the winning message was on making schools not a center, like a battleground for politics, making affordability and like pro working class policy. Like these were like the three main things that Taylor Rennett ran on. And like it resonated. Because this is a district, right, where essentially Republicans had done the thing that they'd done everywhere, which is get Republicans on the school board, right? They got Republicans on the school board and they tried to do all of their Republican like plans, nefarious schemes, I guess, and it turns out the parents who send their kids to those schools didn't like it. It turns out that like, wait, turning the school board into like this political apparatus that is trying to like, focus on like denying hypothetical trans students the ability to play in sports as opposed to like actually improving the quality of education that kids are receiving wasn't all that popular with parents who had to send their kids to those schools. And it turns out that like we're now looking at just a wild situation unfolding where, hey, Republicans know that they're in trouble now. Like, this isn't just, if you can get a 32-point swing, and yeah, let me see, yes, they flipped a plus 17 Texas Senate seat for 30, to a plus 15. That's crazy. That's just so crazy. It's a 32-point swing. Also, G. Elliott Morris, who is doing incredible work crunching numbers, a real non-crazy Nate Silver situation going on with G. Elliott Morris, shows how these special elections have been flipping Republican seats across the country. And this is not a localized event. You got plus 25 in Iowa. You've got a plus 22 in Iowa. You've got a plus 32 in Texas's Senate. Like, you've got that is what you said, Sam and Moose. I just wanted to double check. But you've got a non-localized shift, and it's affecting local politics. And that local political effect absolutely resonates up ballot. Like, if you've got Mississippi shifting by 20 points, by 19 points, like, you've got a situation where Republicans are staring down a bloodbath. Like this is not survivable. Like we're talking like if you have 32-point shifts on the table, there is no Republican seat possible that they can hold on to. Like if we have a 32-point swing on the table, like hardly any Republican can survive that. So this election, I guarantee you, is resonating all across Washington, D.C. today. It is the number one thing that every Republican is hearing about, and suddenly they are feeling like a cold lump of dread in the pit of their stomach. And I would hazard a guess that this is why we have begun to see some really interesting behavior from elected officials. Specifically, let's just take, well, before we get to that, just real quick, this is what Republicans are being offered right now. Like, Republicans are out of touch. They don't know what working people want anymore. Like, Nick Adams over here is a political influencer for the conservative end of the spectrum, and he's out here talking about, just walked past Orange Theory on my way to pick up a hot black coffee and overheard half a dozen college women chatting about Melania after their workout. They were enamored with the First Lady's class, humanity, and business acumen. I didn't know she was so smart, one of them said. Period, sis, another chimed in. I knew she was beautiful, but I had no idea she was so talented too. Slay queen. I didn't realize President Trump was such a good husband, said another, as the rest nodded in agreement. The media just lies about him so much. He's actually such a gentleman. In hushed tones, they all admitted that they can no longer trust the liberal media or the Democrat Party. I think this film just secured the female vote for the GOP in the midterms. like they're the thing that they have to offer right now to show that they're in touch with what the common people want and like is I have a fake story about how I overheard college girls talking about how much they love Donald Trump. Is this satire? No. Or here is Corey Lewandowski, who's co-running DHS right at the moment with what's her butt, not Pam Bondi, the other one. God, I'm so tired right now. My brain is failing me. Anyway,
I'm gonna say, eyes out.
Kristi Noem, thank you.
We're
Jesus.
not savage. We're not animals. We're not aliens. We are humans, and we are Americans.
What do you think about the NFL picking him for this big Super Bowl halftime show? And more importantly, if he pulls some of these antics on Sunday, how do you think the public might respond?
Well, Ed, first and foremost, I'm going to wish my New England Patriots, my home team, great luck on Sunday. I was really going to go to the game, but then Bad Bunny showed up. And listen, anybody who's an American has nothing to worry about, Ed. It's very simple. If you're lawfully in this country, you have nothing to worry about. If you're here in a green card legally, you have nothing to worry about. It is the rapists and the murderers and the sex traffickers and the child pedophiles who are in this country illegally who need...
Wait, the child pedophiles?
I don't know if the Melania movie is worse than The Room, but it's definitely more boring.
The Room has entertainment value.
To be worried. So I recommend you go to the CBP Home app. You self-deport. We'll give you $2,600. We'll fly you home. You'll be nice, safe, and sound, and you don't have to worry. But please, New England Patriots, go have a great day on Sunday.
Only you, Corey, could work the New England Patriots into the answer about Bad Bunny and tough ice tactics, but you did it. We appreciate you taking the tough questions. We'll have you back. Thank you.
That was such a tough question. What a tough question. This is what they have to offer their base. This is the best they got. The best they have is a guy being like, go New England Patriots. Also, I hate the Super Bowl now because this guy who doesn't like ice is going to be performing there, and I'm not going anymore. And also, anyone who's not a U.S. citizen, anyone who's undocumented, you should be afraid, but no one who's documented should be afraid. Don't pay any attention to all the copious numbers of stories coming out of Minnesota about people just being pulled over right and left with no rhyme or reason, or even care about the fact that they are documented. Don't worry about it. No one has anything to fear. Haha, we'll give you money to go away. Bye. New England Patriots. Like, that isn't a compelling message if what you're concerned about is the quality of your child's education. It's not a compelling message if what you're concerned about is like paying your bills. It's not a compelling message if you're worried about putting food on the table or paying rent, or like it's just not a compelling message when you can't afford your health care. And increasingly what's happening is that people are under the threat of deprivation of any number of these things that are necessary for not just their own life, but for the lives of their children. And suddenly it's becoming real that, hey, lower gas prices are not going to make up for the fact that you have a $200 inflation on the amount of you have to pay for food every month. It's not going to make up for the fact that you have a 4 times higher healthcare premium. Like, this isn't going to work. It's bizarre. So, as we start to look at what is happening electorally across the country, and this picture begins to emerge that the Republican Party really has nothing to offer their base outside of wanton cruelty, and essentially just suffering, not just to others, but to their own base as well. Well, Donald Trump thinks he's maybe come up with an idea, but you're going to have to bear with him because it's, he's elderly and it's past his bedtime and he needs to get back to the retirement home. Okay? So let's check this out.
These people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally. And amazing that the Republicans aren't tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win. Now you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get with a court.
So much askissing. No hesitation.
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Like, also, can we just, take a moment? Like, I can't believe that they're using this picture of him, and this is a friendly program. Like, that picture makes him look like he's, some kind of crazy lunatic. Like, it looks like one of his eyes is about to pop out of its socket. And, they think it makes him look cool and tough, but, then he's just ranting and raving about, they're bringing in undocumented immigrants in order to make a vote for me. And there's, they're doing the thing where they come in and they vote, and I won all the states. I have 50-state win. Tim Pool was right about me. I won all 50 states. I'm Donald Trump. He's just he's mumbling his way into practically a coma. It's crazy. Also, Catabingo Rising Revengeance. I am sorry for timing you out for so long. I should have timed you out for 1 minute. But mentioning Tom Brady kissing his son was really gross, and I didn't like it. Don't. I apologize. I did not like that.
Jack, your
but
Trump
I also should have been more
impression is
merciful.
oddly
I'm
close
sorry.
to your Sliwa impression.
That's because my Curtis Lewa impression is for specifically a ranting, raving lunatic. That's the ranting, raving lunatic voice.
Order the ballots. You're going to see some interesting things come out. But, like the 2020 election, I won that election by so much. Everybody does it. They put a woman in jail, Colorado, put a woman in jail, a wonderful woman, 72 years old, had cancer, because she was a voting inspector. She was in charge of a voting area, and she saw boxes of votes come in. So she went over to check it, and they put her in jail for voter manipulation, and she's still in jail. And they better let her out fast. And they're suffering a big price, Colorado. They have this woman in jail.
they're gonna suffer a big. I'm gonna make everyone suffer. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna tell them what for.
Who's 71 years old and probably has cancer.
Look, and does she have cancer or does she only probably have cancer? Are you just imagining symptoms now?
She's sick. And they put her in because she challenged somebody that was dumping ballots into a box, okay? And they didn't put them in jail.
As we all know, putting ballots into a box is illegal. If anyone puts a ballot in a box, it's an illegal thing. It's very clearly illegal to put ballots in boxes. We have the anti-ballot box laws.
This was during Biden's term. The worst president in history. And we had some bad ones. I mean, look, Barack.
Does she even exist? I think I vaguely recall that this is a thing in Colorado, that there is like a lady who is put in jail for trying to tamper with the election. But I don't remember her name, and Donald Trump certainly doesn't either. Otherwise, he would have said her name.
You said Obama, I call him the Great Divider. Right. People couldn't stand him. You mentioned his name, they go crazy. They start booing the hell out of him. We had some really bad ones. I mean, Jimmy Carter wasn't exactly the greatest. Jimmy Carter didn't exactly have the hit on Venice.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? Yes, Tina Peters. Thank you, Amber Brains. He's talking, like, he's unprompted shifting the conversation to Jimmy Carter in Venezuela. Like, he's nuts. He's nuts. Like, his brain is gone. Yeah, it's word association time, folks. It's his therapy time, where he just free associates. It helps him stay calm.
That I remember his hits, they always turned out to be a disaster. Right. He went out, he had a hit, the helicopters were crashing into each other, the hostages and everything. That's why Ronald Reagan won the election. It was so pathetic. But we do it right. We've got the greatest military. I built the military. You know that in my first term. I built it. I built the entire U.S. military. I did. They called me Rosie the Riveter, you know. I built the entire thing. I was back there in World War II. I built all of them. I built the planes. I built the the Mustang. Yeah, I built the Mustang. The Ford Mustang. I built it. It used to soar through the air.
His brain is about as cooked as his incontinent bowels.
Yep. Like it is nuts. He is gone, guys.
The military, even though they gave a piece of it away, but it's a lot, but it's still a piece compared to what I built. We have the most powerful military.
We gave away the military, didn't we tell you, Dan? Hey, Dan, we gave away some of the military. Do you remember that, don't you, Dan? We gave it away, but not all of it, just a little bit of the military, Dan. We gave it away.
And my attack on Iran, with, Operation Midnight Hammer, where we wiped out their nuclear threat, which they would have had a nuclear weapon within a month, and we knocked it out. And our attack on Venezuela was,
look, no one's as warmongering as me, Dan. I love wars. I love doing wars. Hey, Dan, do you remember this one and this one and this one? Yeah, that's probably what you asked me about, right, Dan?
Like, unbelievable. And the nice thing about Venezuela, we're getting along great now with the government. We talk to them every single day. We took 50 million barrels of oil. It's on its way right now to Houston to be refined.
Yeah, we took a lot of their oil. It was pretty cool, and that's why we took it, and that's why I'm getting all of the money into a private Qatari account that'll be in my name that I will control. It's why it's really good. We took it. Not for all of us, but for me. Because don't you think I deserve it, Dan? Don't you think I deserve the oil money?
And we're going to help them a lot, and we're going to benefit by it also. It's going to be great. It's going to be an amazing place. It was these people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally.
Oh, God. I was tempted to let that play again all the way through and just be like, wow, look at him. He's repeating himself. But that wouldn't be fair. I don't need to resort to such dastardly tricks to make him look like a fool. Not by the way, just I know that was a lot, But I do want to read this particular quote, right? Which goes, these people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally. The Republicans should say, we should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. This is an existential threat to democracy. This is a huge threat to the democratic process. And I know that a lot of folks are really worried about this materializing in... I'm not materializing, metastasizing might be a better word for it. I would say that he can only nationalize elections if we let him. He can only attempt to do this if we allow him to do it. This man cannot even control a mid-size American city in a place known for its passive aggression. He certainly cannot, in fact, nationalize the US election. This is a move that would absolutely provoke a colossal amount of backlash that, let's be completely real here, the Republican Party would not survive. They can't get away with doing it, and this threat that he's gonna try, that's real. He is going to try, and it is then incumbent upon all of us to make sure that we show up and prevent that from happening. What exactly that's going to look like, I don't know. But it does mean that we are going to have to show up in ways that, are uncomfortable, maybe. We're going to have to organize. We're going to have to go out of our comfort zone. And we're going to have to, go to local Democratic meetings, go to our city council meetings, go to our DSA meetings. It means that we're going to have to show up more than we've ever shown up before in order to keep this democracy. I'm sorry, they're out there trying to say, oh yeah, no, you're totally safe if you're a U.S. citizen. You have nothing to fear. While abducting U.S. citizens here in Minneapolis, while spiriting people away and breaking into people's houses without warrants. They pulled a guy out of his house in front of his 3-year-old grandkid, half naked, in Minnesota sub-zero temperatures. This isn't subtle attempts to coerce the population. This is direct violence on us, and it's still not working. And so the entire thing going on here is just his threat only holds as much weight as we give it. And one thing I would really like to throw out there is that Donald Trump is particularly weak right now. And what authoritarians do when they are weak is that they get more authoritarian. They try and project more power because it's the one thing they know how to do. Right? And the lesson we should take from everything that Donald Trump has done up to this point, everything Donald Trump has ever done throughout his life, is that you just tell him no. You tell him, nah, no deal. You tell him to fuck off. Which is exactly what Harvard did, by the way. And he's been consistently being like, we're going to charge Harvard $200 million. We're going to cut off all government business, all government contracts with Harvard. And guess what? Harvard told him to fuck off. And today, the Trump administration backed off of demanding $200 million from Harvard because they just said no and they meant it and they kept it. And wow, that worked. In a similar way, we need to tell him no when it comes to matters of our democracy. And we need to show up and show that we mean that no. You do not capitulate to a bully. You stand your ground. And you do not give him what he wants. I know things look grim, but I want you folks to use this opportunity to motivate yourselves to get more organized in your local community. Okay? Join your local Dems, join your local DSA, go to the meetings, go to events, network, get to know people, and start doing more in your local politics. Okay, folks? So if you need help to do that, join our Discord, reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems, and let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Comments longer than 8 words help in the algorithm. Leave a like, subscribe. Check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, tested on cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. And it is non-tucking lingerie, new colors, styles, and designs coming in the near future. So check that all out. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going, and don't let the bastard get you down.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and switchy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, being flame more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.